What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. People, in today's video, we're going to talk about the South African trip to America and how the Afrikaners got one over the ANC. Afrikaners won, ANC zero. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Hello. People, Afrikaner Farmers 1, ANC 0. Now, why am I saying this? After a carefully planned trip to America of a high-powered delegation of politicians, sports people, and business people, Cyril Ramaphosa thought it would be best for South Africa to fly over to America, have a chat with Donald Trump, clear the air, and prove to him that there is no white genocide happening in America. Now, to be fair, it was a good gesture, I think. It was a calculated move. It was something that was meant to mend fences with America, something to prove that whatever negatives the media was trying to portray or portraying were actually not true. Great. Ramaphosa arrived in America, had a good chat with Donald Trump. I think, to be honest and to be fair, he conducted himself in a cool, calm, and collected manner. Ramaphosa showed that he is a seasoned politician who does not relish media attention and he does not seek the spotlight and is willing to take a back seat when required. On the other hand, Donald Trump proved to the world that he always wants to be the man of the moment, spotlight on him, and he loves to give a grandiose show. Donald Trump made an example with the Ukrainian president Zelensky. He totally annihilated Zelensky on live television. Donald Trump put Zelensky to the sword, and that set the precedent for future presidents coming to the Oval Office. Now, Ramaphosa's reaction to Donald Trump's actions were something to be admired and something that most, if not all, global leaders should take heed of and learn from. Because, like I said, Ramaphosa handled himself in a professional manner, in a dignified manner, and in a manner that is to be expected by a leader and by a politician. Unlike Zelensky, who was going toe for toe, toe to toe, toe to toe, punch for punch, blow for blow, which Ramaphosa steered from. Right? Now, we have to give Ramaphosa credit for that, no doubt. Right? He did not embarrass South Africa. Everyone around the globe, all the newspapers clearly said that he was a gentleman and he held himself in high esteem in that regard. Okay, so the trip itself, was it a success or not? Well, after trying to convince Donald Trump that everything is well in South Africa and that crime does not only affect white Afrikaners and that crime doesn't only affect white farmers, but everybody in South Africa across the board is a victim or a potential victim of sporadic crime because crime is out of control and the government alone cannot handle the crime pandemic that is plaguing South Africa. So, with all good intentions, Ramaphosa and his team met with Donald Trump after the Oval Office sitting. They had obviously a private meeting after that, showing in the Oval Office. And when everything was done, Ramaphosa came back and he said it was a fruitful trip. It was a good trip. He feels like, fences were mended, things were said, everybody was smiling. So he thinks it was going to be a good result because he went and he explained when Donald Trump showed positiveness towards what Ramaphosa was saying. Unfortunately, Ramaphosa was so wrong. His calculations were off. You see, what Ramaphosa did, he was hoping against hope. He wasn't leaving room for disappointment. He thought by taking a high powered delegation of white Afrikaner people with him, that they were going to soften the blow and that they were going to convince Donald Trump otherwise. And unfortunately, it didn't play out according to Ramaphosa's plans because, true to his word, trust me, Donald Trump came out guns blazing. What do I mean? Donald Trump has slapped South Africa with a 31% tariff hike. He has withdrawn all funding, all aid, PEPFAR, and I think AGOA is also teetering on the verge of collapse. So my question comes now. After taking the painstaking trip to fly all the way to America to go and try to explain to somebody who already sees you in a bad light because you took his best friend to the ICJ, you still thought that it was a good idea to fly to the Oval Office and have lunch on the taxpayers at the taxpayers' expense. You decided you're going to have lunch with your worst enemy's nightmare or with the nightmare of your worst enemy at the moment. Okay, let's backtrack. Firstly, you are accused of receiving funding to take Israel to the ICJ. Then you thought that it was a good idea to go to Israel's best friend and go and try and negotiate a good deal for yourself, knowing damn well that you are in America, the best friend of the person you've taken to task, and you thinking you are going to get a positive outcome in America. Are you serious? Okay, so let's just look at it from a politician's perspective. Because we are not politicians, we don't look at things from a diplomatic point of view. We look at things from a human perspective. Okay, so let's take it from from a political point of view. Everything in politics is diplomatic. Diplomacy, that's the game. Okay, so diplomacy dictates that you will be respectable, honorable, approachable, and you'll be coachable in a dignified manner. Okay, so you go, fly all the way to America, You make a phone call, you agree, they agree, we can come over, we talk, you go. Eh, president to president. A mano a mano. Nice. My whole point is, as a politician, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Or are you simply just ignorant to the fact that your moves prior to phoning America, you didn't take all that into consideration to say, we've accepted, allegedly, we've accepted Iranian funding to take Israel to court. You didn't think about that. You have publicly gone on public platforms, openly wearing a keffiyeh, stating your allegiance to Palestine and not to Israel. You gladly forgetting that. Okay, you have also gone on to vote against America in almost every voting session of the UN. You gladly forgot that. Okay, so we take all this into consideration, right? We take all that into consideration. That when it comes to America versus China, you are always on the side of China, right? Because China is your biggest trading partner, which makes more sense. So you don't want to piss off China no matter what you do. Okay, so now we've got the China connection, we've got the Russian connection, which you also know is a sworn enemy of America because of what's happening in Ukraine. You clearly said you are not taking a side. You clearly said that. You are non aligned, right? You are neutral. And yet, somehow, somewhere, you have been accused, allegedly, for arming Russia. It was a ship, the Lady Something, that docked in Cape Town at Simonstown, loaded something that was headed for Russia, a sanctioned ship, if I'm not mistaken. Allegedly, they said. Okay, so we take all that into consideration. And you decided you're going to forego all these allegations or all these actions, all right? And you're going to go ahead and talk to America because you now feel that aid is at risk, business is at risk, and your economy is at risk. Okay, that's the political angle, right? From a politician's angle. You ignore all that. You just make a phone call and you go and talk your case. You go and plead, you go and talk, you go and do whatever. That's a politician's view, right? The politician's way. Now let's look at it from a normal person's perspective. People, as a person, as a human being, if I upset someone's best friend, right, by taking them to court, right? If I constantly vote against this person at whatever meetings we have, right? If I'm constantly taking the side of this person's enemy, right? And if I'm constantly uh, being accused of siding with another enemy of this person, and worse off, I join an opposing organization. Do you think, as a normal functioning human being, that you would dare make that phone call to this person who you clearly have shown over time that you are clearly not in their court? You are not in their side. You are not on their side. And what are you? You are hoping to get a positive outcome after doing all these negative things towards this person, and you gladly turn. Don't these politicians, haven't they, weren't they once young? Didn't they ever work in a workspace? Don't they know what conflict of interest is? Don't they know what enemies are? Don't they know what is um, cold wars? Don't they know what is small talk? I mean, I don't understand it. So certain people just don't understand how life works. So for me, it's shocking that politicians can actually see things through a lens that doesn't even make sense at all. But here they are. doing the most. I would when you don't speak to your neighbor because you have an assault, because you have some sort of grievances with your neighbor. Do they not know that? Do they not understand that? So I feel like what Ramaphosa did and his team of men and his band of many men, they went there, they embarrassed themselves, knowing all of these allegations against South Africa. They went there and embarrassed themselves, which was unnecessary to do because now the results have come out that Trump has ignored all the things that they tried to go and claim to him. Right? It's all in the proof. The proof is all in the pudding now. Trump is going ahead and cutting all funding, possibly AGOA as well, and he's already slapped the tariffs on South Africa. So, was it a fruitful visit? Was it a positive visit? Was it a worthwhile visit? Or was it a total waste of tax dollars? Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, we family, right? Holler.